Oh yes, you guys, I brought you the greatest present of all time. Please welcome Karen Strassman. Karen and I are great friends, and this is her first time at Matsuri, so you guys make sure to make her feel welcome. It's her first time in Houston!
Everyone has been so nice. Everybody's been so kind and so nice. I really like it here.
Yeah! She's staying. She's gonna stay, I believe it. So make sure, when we're done, make sure sometime this weekend you go by and see her, okay? Downstairs. Make sure she goes back to California, telling everybody how awesome Texas is, okay? And I know we just got started. We just got set up downstairs. It's like, okay, now we gotta go to panel. That's fine, because we love panels. We love talking to you guys about things that you enjoy. Karen, why don't you take a minute, tell them a little bit about you, give them a bit of an orientation, so to speak. They know me, they're sick of me. They need to know about you, okay? Go ahead, I'll listen right here and watch. Came up
Well,
to see Karen.
I like eating your coladas.
And getting caught in the rain?
I'm not into health food, but I'm into champagne. If you guys could meet me at midnight in the dunes of the you guys probably know who I am better than I know. You guys know these things. I'm a very bad geek. But I voice hundreds of voices. I'm the voice of Bruce and that and Sonic. That's so sweet. I'm the voice of Sorbonne and Momo from Bleach. I'm the voice of Colin from Code Yes. Melina and Katana. The voice of Katana. Oh, what else? Igus and Nanako from Persona. And Anna from Fire Emblem. So sweet. And hundreds of others. And if you come by, I'll have some pictures and you can look. Some of the newer stuff I've done is Berserk. Cosplay from Berserk. Paul from Hunter x Hunter. So there's some cool new stuff too. You guys can come by and see the rest. I won't spend the whole hour giving you a list of all the things I've done over way too many years. I love meeting friends. I love storytelling. I love the connection at conventions and all of us coming together as human beings who love storytelling and sharing that. And I really, really, really love spreading kindness. I think it's a really challenging world we're living in right now, and I think we all, I know I do, feel kind of helpless with everything that's going on, and I think the one way that I feel like I can make a difference is just by making human connections with another human being, another beautiful, shining soul every day, and I think that if we can do that everywhere we go, I don't know you, you're a shining soul, you're a human struggling just like me, and we can remember that we're all in it together and just give each other a little bit of human love and human kindness moment to moment wherever we are, and then we can make it through together and maybe we create some magic together. So that's me. Voilà.
Yes. We should be able to, wouldn't it be great if we could like transport, like bottle that and share it with so many other people? I love it, I love it. Yeah, we both been in the industry for a huge long time. You guys know about me and my background, but I just love this event, and you know that too. I always, no matter where I go, what I do, I'm always telling people, man, Matsuri, if you make the one event in a year, make it down to Matsuri. So, and next year, y'all, the 20th anniversary. Is that crazy?
Damn.
I know, you can believe it. Already just blown away. I'm talking to John and Denise last night. And we're talking about next year is the 20th anniversary. But we want to take as much time. I'll be doing panels like I do here every day at 1 o'clock, probably this room. And we've got a lot of fun stuff to share with you guys. More than anything, like Karen said, we want to be able to connect with you. I enjoy hearing you talk and answering questions and interacting with you as much as anything else. In fact, you know, one thing that really bummed me out about COVID, even when people started having events again, was that they didn't schedule Q&A sessions. I think maybe, you know, somebody was probably a little nervous with the close proximity or whatever, but we lost so much in connection during that time. So I, for one, am super excited every time a convention schedules a Q&A session. So we get the chance to talk with you directly, and it's not, you know, a quick exchange at a table or a quick, hi, how you doing, as we're passing the hallway, you know? So we want to open the floor, and we'll take all the time today just chatting about anything you guys want to talk about. Now, I promised my handler downstairs that I would let you know that we have some items at our table, at my table, that the proceeds are going to go to these efforts in Central Texas. We've already lined up with a charity, a local charity right there that's on site to help people in it. So some of the proceeds of the items at my table will go to that. So just want to let you know that because I didn't really make an announcement about that. So I thought, oh, let's do it. And I would be doing what she's doing, except my body will break. So I don't bend that well. Okay, who's got our first question? Who's gonna start us off? Boom! That was easy.
Okay. So I need a soul.
Soul?
Soul?
Yes.
S-O-U-L?
Yes.
You like soul like Soul Eater?
No, like.
Like my shoe doesn't have a soul? Oh, I love it.
Like beautiful soul.
Yes, what's your question?
Okay, well, first of all, big fan guys. Thank you for my captain. Oron, Monster High, Academy.
Monster High, Tiger Blood.
And Resident Evil, of course. So this question is for Karen in particular. So you have voiced many awesome characters in Resident Evil, including Alexia Ashford and of course Annette Birkin. So what was it like for you to like really try to connect and bring to life these like complex, driven, smart, and like extremely ambitious yet morally like questionable characters? And try to connect with them even if they're darker than them.
That's a great question. So first of all, it's an awesome question. Annette Birkin, I did motion capture for her as well, and spent like weeks on the motion capture stage. It was fantastic. What I loved about this iteration, because it was Resident Evil Remake 2, was we had decided with developers and the director that we wanted to make her really human. So not just like she's bad, she's not just a bad guy, but we really wanted to emphasize that she was in a horrible situation because she had created this stuff with her husband, Leon, and he took it. And that wasn't the plan. And she knew that if she didn't try and kill him, it could spread all over the world. And she also knew that she had a choice between saving her daughter and saving the world. And so I got to play her not just like, like an evil villain, but I got to play her like a complex human being of high intelligence with huge stakes and what you do. And so she basically sacrifices her daughter for trying to help humanity because she feels so incredibly responsible for this tragedy. And she comes off as cold and calculating, but she's really extremely troubled and tortured. And it was like, God, it was wonderful to play her like that, and hopefully it comes out like that when you play the game. So that's a great question. It was amazing. And for Alexia Ashford, she's just she was just so much fun. I didn't put too much thought in. I just let her rip, you know. And she was just so much fun. This is a great question, so
thank you. Great question. Well, thank you, Commoner. You're a beautiful poor person. That's one of my favorites too. Question, who's got the next one? Yes, sir.
This one's for Karen. Who is your favorite character that you've played? Like in general, like who's your favorite character that you've played?
Who's my favorite character? Oh my gosh. It's hard to say that because they're always listening. I use Crowley from World of Warcraft. They're all like sitting inside me listening, and how could I like single one out and hurt the other's feelings? It's so hard. Momo from Bleach. So I felt with Bleach. They're all different parts of me. So being able to single one out and like saying that part of me is my favorite, they're all like so different. So, you know, Lolita from Mortal Kombat is so cruel and horrible, and it's so much fun to find that part of me and bring it out. Because I tend to be a people pleaser, so when I get to play the evil characters, it's fun. But I also love the super sweet ones, like Miyuki from where's Miyuki from, you guys? Lucky Star. Yeah.
I have a question. What's your favorite character that she's played?
Alex, Rouge the Black is so grateful for your favor.
Oh. Thank
Thank you.
you, Alex. Thank you, buddy. Question? You can go all the way to the back. Oh, back the way to the back. And then we'll go all the way to the back.
All the way.
You got it. You're good.
Thank you. First off, yeah, you did really good in Resident Evil. I played it. Character that you've done is so well.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. What's your name?
Victor.
Say it again. Vic?
Victor. We have the same name.
Vic?
Victor.
Victor?
Yes. Which is a very different last name.
That's amazing. You have different last. Well, that's great.
Mine's
Nobody wants my last name.
Nobody wants mine either. It's Irish.
What is it?
McWater.
McWater?
McWater.
See, I could be Mignogna.
Right,
Right, let's do it. Let's do it, okay?
I'd watch that.
So, my other question, I guess, is for you, Vic.
That wasn't a question. That was a compliment. That was a compliment, Vic. Thank you for it. He didn't ask a question, he gave me a huge compliment. But anyway, your next question.
You're working all the nonsense.
I can't think of a good comeback for the first time in my life. I've never lost a battle ever. Of all the characters that you've done, what is the one that you found most challenging in terms of polar opposite of personal beliefs?
Oh, wow. What a great question, bro. I love your name. Wow. You know, years ago, when Full Metal Alchemist first came out, thank you guys, I love that little pipsqueak. When that show first came out, I would get letters from people saying, I thought you were like a Christian. How can you play this character, you know? How can you play this character that's like, you know, atheist and all of that? And I would write them back and I would say, well, let's break this down. First of all, it's called acting. You're playing a role that is not you. That's the biggest point. It's you know, if you only played characters that were just like you, number one, you wouldn't get many roles. And number two, it really wouldn't be acting. Because you're just you know? There are probably some film actors that you could think of. They play the same kind of character every movie they're ever in. Because, you know, that's just them being them. They have a certain kind of personality and it works really well for certain characters. But with voice acting especially, you play all of this range of characters. And I know Karen agrees that they're not you. They're not probably maybe even anything like you. But that's where the fun is. The fun is exploring and playing this role that is very different from yourself. Anybody that knows me, and especially you guys, you're kind of like my family. Matsuri is kind of like family to me. Know that my faith in Christ is very important to me. It's the foundation of my life. Not being offensive. Don't anybody get offended, okay? I'm just sharing that's my belief. And I respect everybody equally. But I'm not ashamed to share that, you know, that part of myself. And I believe that it's a good thing. I believe that it's a positive thing, which is why I share it with people. And so, I personally thought that Ed, back to Full Metal, I thought that Ed was kind of on a journey. Because one day he's talking about there are no gods, and why don't you put down the scriptures and pick up an alchemy book, and he's being a little smart mouth, right? Like he is. But then, when he's alone with his brother, you see that part of him that is not quite so certain, and not quite so sure, and a little scared. And I mean, when what happened with, the very Chopper episode, at the very end of that episode, he thought he was going to die. You guys remember that? The guy kidnapped him and ripped his arm off so that he couldn't do alchemy, remember? And he was chasing him around that meat factory, and Ed was terrified. And then Al shows up and saves him. And they're sitting on the porch, on the steps, watching the police throw Barry the Chopper in the back of the paddy wagon. And Ed shows a side of himself that is so vulnerable. And he says, we're not gods. We're just humans. Tiny, insignificant humans who couldn't save the world. You see a different side of it. I think there's a turmoil in him. Anybody that loses whose dad takes off, I'm one of them. My dad took off, and I'm probably not one in the room. Anyone who loses a parent, like Ed and Al lost their mom, you know what those people are going to have? They're going to have a lot of anger. They're going to have a lot of questions. They're going to be shaking their fist at the sky, right? Why would you let this happen? And they would question a lot of those big questions in the midst that we all do. So I personally kind of feel like that was a character who had a very different philosophy than I do. But it's fun to play, and you can pretend, right? You're pretending, and you're acting, and you're not that person. So there were a lot of other crazy, mean characters, wild, weird, evil criminals that we both played, I'm sure, over the years. That doesn't mean we are them. It's just part of playing a role. Question? Who's got a question?
I can add something to that.
Yes, please.
What's so cool about being able to play those characters is it's almost like therapy. Because, like, you know, we want to be a good person, so, you know, the anger or that part, we repress it, and we're human, so we're made of all that stuff. You know, it's just part of the human creature. We have resentment, we have fear, we have a desire for violence because we were hurt, and we have a desire for revenge. You know, if we keep ourselves in check, we don't act on it. But when you're acting a role, wonderful is all that stuff is archetype. And the audience, as an audience, don't you love watching these evil characters? Because it's cathartic. It's cathartic to see, like, and it's horrible, but, you know, somebody beating the head in of a bad guy, and you're like, yes, yes, because there's a part of us that was hurt, and we want to see that person beat up. So that's the magic of storytelling, is we can kind of have a catharsis without actually doing it ourselves. And in the ancient Greek tradition of theater, and theater started off as a religious experience, and that was the tradition of it, was to create, it's a Greek word, catharsis, to create an experience for people to go through their emotions and everything so that they don't have to do it upon each other in everyday life.
Wow. Okay, now it's an educational panel as well. Yeah, and you know what's really cool about bad guys, evil characters, or what do you want to call them, antagonists, is that if they're well written, they're actually even more compelling than the hero, because you end up asking yourself, what could possibly happen in this person's life that would have made them turn evil? If they're well crafted, then they're usually, they were good people once, and they gave into this dark side because of something, or a series of things that took place in their lives. And that makes them even a little more complex and fun to play. Okay, next question is all the way to the back, just like I promised. She's like, you forgot. Hold on a second. Oh my gosh, it's you and your sister did this?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm nowhere near that cute. Oh my gosh, what's your name? Will you tell her how you so crazy? Tell her I love it. You do me a favor? Come down to the autograph table after and let me give you something to give you back. Okay? Thank you. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. Question? Yes, sir.
Hey, this is a question for the both of you. It's not a very good question, but but between the both of you, you've like played like hundreds of different characters and all that. And you're pretty attached to like those things like Dark or whatever. How do you guys remember who you are after all that?
You mean like as a human being? Like,
especially
so how do I remember who each of the characters
No, how do you
are? Or how do I remember like what this thing is?
Yeah, like especially with you, having like you couldn't pick your favorite characters and all that because like they're listening. Like how do you remember who you are specifically? Because you're so dedicated to these characters, like you drive deep into them. Like how do you go home and remember like, okay, I'm this person right now?
Ladies first.
Okay. I'm gonna go philosophical from the heart and answer, because that's how I roll. I think we redefine who we are in each and every moment. So in every moment, I have a choice of who I want to be. So it's not a question of remembering who I am. It's in each moment deciding who I want to be and listening to my heart. You know, so in this moment, what choice do I want to make faced with this situation? You know, or in this moment, if I'm sad, I might not, like, I just have to listen to it and trust it. So sometimes it's like, I'm making a choice, this is who I choose to be in this moment. Or sometimes it's just like, this is who I am at this moment, like I'm just sad, or I'm just scared. And listening to it and being true to it. Like, I'm so sorry I have, like sometimes I get migraines, I'm so sorry I have a migraine right now, I can't go dancing or like be joyful because I'm in pain, and that's just, it's not who I want to be. But I think it's like, just being with what is true for us in that moment, and also choosing who do I want to be in this moment. More than anything. I could choose to be rich and bad in any moment. You know what? It's a good thing. Maybe like tomorrow at the grocery store, I could just choose to be rich and bad. I like that.
So, that's a really great answer, by the way. That was a great answer. Which means, what that means is she likes you right now, but she may kill you later. So, whatever you're feeling in the moment, be ready. That's a really great answer. A really great answer. And I think all of us, if you, even any one of you, kind of search your own selves, you know that you are any given person at any given time, you know? Different things bring out different responses from people. We are a huge mix of all kinds of things. The real question, and I think you had mentioned it, is who are you going to choose to be? You can be really angry, but you choose not to ram your car into the car beside you because you can't go on. You know what I mean? Or somebody hurt your feelings and you want to hurt them back, or something like that. You want to say something snarky, but you can choose not to. You can choose to take a higher road. And all of us relate to that in different ways. I know. Question?
Okay, I have one more thing because I like to add things.
Go ahead.
The last part I wanted to have after what Vic said is I think there's a knowing in each of our hearts who we are and who we want to be. And I know when I get stressed out, often I go away from that, but when I get a little quiet, and it's like we each have our own music, and I've attuned to my own music, and that reminds me also of who I am.
I'm going to get you. I will. I swear.
Hi, I'm asking a question because my brother's inside ask.
She's talking about you.
Yeah.
I love your outfit. I wish I could wear it. Really? Oh my gosh, I love that show so much.
So the question is, we all know that you voice comedy before, but if you had the choice to voice another character, who would you voice?
Oh.
Tricky. And what is your name? Welcome. Welcome to those club. I'm so excited to meet you, Jordan, right? And you are Hannah and Jordan. Well, Jordan, you know, when we started auditioning for Aura, I had been introduced to Tommy by Caitlin Glass, who played Matsuri. She knew the show before the show was even licensed to be done. And she gave me a disc. You guys know the story? Some of you do. I apologize if you know the story. She gave me a disc. You might find this fascinating too. It was Japanese. It was the original Japanese. And one day, Caitlin called me and she said, I'm watching this show, and you need to see it because there's this character, and it's you. It's totally you. So she gave me a disc of like the first few episodes of Aura. And I watched it, and I fell in love with that show. And I loved comedy. And that's like the kiss of death. Like, don't, you know what I mean? You don't want to jinx yourself, right? You want this role so bad. Well, that's just the perfect way to make sure you mess it up and don't get it. So, by the way, it hadn't even been licensed yet. So, there was really no path that I could see that I would ever get to play the role. It was just in Japanese, and wow, what a great character, what a beautiful show. How funny, how endearing, what great characters. And then, Funimation in Dallas licensed it to dub. Well, that brought it one step closer to the possibility that I might get to play a role in it. But still, I mean, they just licensed it. It hadn't been cast yet. So then they hired Caitlin to direct it. See, now you're thinking what I was thinking. At the moment I heard, I'm like, yes! I'm in! I'm gonna get to play that weird kid. So here I come. And so I went in for the audition. And I went, and Caitlin was in the room, of course, with the engineer, and she goes, all right, I guess we all know who you want to audition for. Yes. And so I went in there, and I did the Tommy lines. It was that whole little opening scene when she comes into the host club and knocks over the thing, and now you gotta do host club's dog, and you know, all that. Well, it was boring, and come there is coffee, and I did the audition, and I felt really good about it. And then she said something. As soon as I finished the audition, she comes on the little talkback mic, and she said something that is burned in my brain. I'll never forget. She went, "Do you want to read for anybody else?" What? There is nobody else. Like, it's got to be him. But I thought, okay, I better not say the wrong thing, right? So I said, sure, yeah, can I read for Kyria? And she said, sure. And then she said, anybody else? And I was like, we're getting further from Doug. Sure, I'll read for one of the twins. So I did that. And then I left. And I was like, oh. And she called me, and I'll never forget, she said, I know you want to play Tommy D, and I know I told you you're Tommy D back before we even started this process. She said, but my job is, and this shows you what a great director she is. She said, my job is to create an ensemble. It's not about one person. It's about the group. And this person might be really great in this role until you put them with this person and this person, and then it just doesn't jive quite right. And so she felt an obligation to make choices for the whole ensemble. Well, I mean, it's all history now, but she ultimately cast me as Tommy, and I savored every moment of that. I mean, like, I would do a line, and I would get it right the first time, and she'd go, okay, let's move on, and be like, can we do it again? She's like, it was fine. I'm like, yes, but I think I might be able to do better. And I can give you a different reflection, and you can choose what you like. And so, okay. So I just, a lot of times, and I know Karen will agree with this as well, a lot of times we get called in to do something, you don't even know what you're doing until you walk in the room. And they go, okay, this is a bad guy, he was beat up by his friends, and now he wants revenge for it. You don't know it's
Oh, with a Russian accent.
right. And halfway through the Russian, they're like, wait, let's make it French. I mean, like, they're throwing you curveballs on the spot. You don't have time to go and researching this character. I've spent months developing this voice. No, you go in and you go, and you got to do it quick. So Oron was a rare treat for me, where I knew about it before it was ever even licensed or I ever got past it. So I savored every line of that character. Thank you. Thank you. I talked too much. You got a question for Karen? You got a question for Karen? Okay. Oh, that's well. That's okay. There's always tomorrow. You can start watching all of her shows. Look what you did! Look what you've done! She's right. Are you proud of yourself? Oh, look at her now. Look. Now we're going to have to clean that table. The tear stains of Sharon's coffee. Okay, I'm going to come back to you, I promise. I promise. Who's got a question for Karen?
When you lose, how can I answer this question? I'm going to say
yes, 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 and yes. That's a really wonderful question, and the answer is absolutely 100,000 million. Yes.
And 40, watching movies, everything else about that.
Give the mic to the man in the orange hat.
Yes. And now it's your turn.
Before I get the question, I just wanted to say, Fullmetal Brotherhood was my formative anime experience, and I wanted to just, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for making my introduction to anime as memorable an experience as it was.
Thank you. Thank you. That show changed me. I'd done probably 40 or 50 shows before Fullmetal, and nothing ever hit me the way Fullmetal did. I love that.
So moving through to this day, watching it.
Me too, bro. When I was recording, I was gone. Seriously. I mean, there were some scenes that moved me so deeply. I was in tears. And the director would be like, you want to take a minute? I'm like, are you kidding? Record now! Wow, it's real and fresh. Well, it's visceral. And yeah, absolutely.
Question was, of all the roles that you've done up to this point in your career, if you had to go back and like reprise a role, who could it be?
You know, people have asked me the question that they asked you a few minutes ago, what's your favorite character you've ever played? And you know, when you've done 4 characters, it's easy to pick. But when you've done 400, it's hard. Because, as Karen so perfectly pointed out, you put peace with yourself, you know. There is some small part of you in all of them. And I used to have a hard, I did want to answer the question when people asked me the question. What's your favorite character? Oh, I love them all, you know. They're my children. I love them all. But then after we finish Brotherhood, I'll never forget that last scene. When I turned that page and I realized I was on the last page of the script, and this was probably it. It really stuck with me. So I would have to say Ed was my favorite character that I ever played. And I've heard from so many people like you who said, you know, anime, I wasn't really into anime, but Fullmetal Alchemist kind of got me into it. Or it's the anime for people that don't watch it. I've heard that a lot. Or it was the first English dub they ever gave a shot with, because they usually watched subs. But there was the original Fullmetal, which I adored, then Brotherhood, the games, the OVAs, the movies, but there was just not enough Auron. The manga continued, and everybody would like to see more. I sure would. If I had a lot of money, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I would personally fund the making of the second season of Auron if I had the money to do it. We'll call it a commoner starter. It's very exciting. Okay, who's got a question for Karen? I am not going to monopolize the panel and talk too long. Yes, sir.
I'd like to know where you started. Before you started acting, I wonder what you did. And then, like, what acting show that can change you back to acting?
What's your name?
Vassar.
Vassar? Okay.
Like the design school, right? Vassar. Cool. That's a cool name.
Oh, you guys, I wanted to be an actress ever since I was a very little girl. I just loved acting. I loved making up stories. I loved playing pretend. Nobody in my family, I grew up in Washington, D.C. And nobody, I don't know why, it was like built into this thing. I just loved it. And I was in all these little plays, and when I was, since 3 years old, I would make little plays in my basement, trying to get my poor parents to listen to that. I just loved it. It was so much fun. I don't know if you guys know a show called Little House on the Prairie, but I wanted to be Laura. I wanted to play that role. And then when I was 13, I think I played, there's a play called The Miracle Worker. Has anybody heard that?
Yeah, Helen Keller, right?
I played Helen Keller as a little girl, where she was blind and deaf and couldn't speak, and she never could. But when she was a little girl, she was in her world because she didn't know that communication existed. She didn't know that anything else existed, so she was like an animal. And there was a beautiful play written about her transition, a nanny who kind of saved her because they were going to put her into an insane asylum. And the nanny came to take care of her and helped her realize that every words existed and that there was communication that existed. And it's a really, really beautiful play by an author named Lily Gibson. And I was cast as that at 13 years old, and I became this huge, my whole school was buzzing around it. And I would go after school, get out and go to the theater and blindfold myself and walk around the stage trying to find my way. And I fell in love with acting forever and ever. And but somewhere along the way, you guys, when I was a little older and doing acting workshops, somebody told me that I wasn't pretty enough to be a lead ingenue, and I wasn't interesting looking enough to be a character actress, so I probably couldn't succeed. I wasn't tall enough, I wasn't pretty enough, I wasn't fat enough, and you know what I did? I believed it. So I stopped following my dreams of acting and started studying psychology because I figured that was about the human soul. And if I couldn't be an actor because some bozo told me I couldn't, and I believed it because I didn't have any strong mentors. And then when I was 19, I moved to France to study there. If you guys can move to another country for a year to study, I highly recommend it. Whatever you do, try and go and live somewhere else at least for a year or 6 months. And while I was there, it's a longer story, I won't bore you with it, or if you come to my table anymore. But I started coaching French actors. I became a dialogue coach. And at the age of 19, I started working in a studio where they coached very famous French actors to act in English with the camera, because there were a lot of films coming in that were co-productions that actors needed to speak English for. And I was just really good at it. And then from there, they were looking for someone to dub the role of Saint Bernadette, who is this beautiful saint who imagined she saw the Virgin Mary, or who actually did see the Virgin Mary, depending on the story, in the south of France, where everybody goes, the pilgrims go to be blessed and to be healed. And there was a story about the saint that was directed by a famous French director. And they had an English version, and they didn't like the English voice they had, and they did the search all over France for somebody with an English-speaking voice that could voice this character, and they couldn't find anybody. Somebody found me, and I'd never done voiceover before, and they brought me to the studio, and they said, okay, there's a script, and when it hits that line, you say the words, and it's going to fit into her mouth, and just try and feel her feelings. And I was terrified, and I was like, I don't even know why I'm here. And I did what they told me, and the character was so beautiful, and I felt so connected to her. And after I did the audition, there was this huge silence in the room, and this old famous director just sat there and went, Ava, we have found our Bernadette. And that was my first voiceover director. The film is still plays all over the world, and it is in that location of Lord, but it became a huge success. And that one thing led to another, and then I decided to go to acting school when I was in France. And I just started believing in my dream again. And I got into the French Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts, and I studied there at the French. And I learned to speak French fluently without an accent. And I spent 15 years in doing voiceover in France, French film and television. I worked for all kinds of directors over there, like Roman Polanski and all kinds of interesting directors. Finally, I decided to come back to the United States to work here. And I just kept following my dream. And I learned to not believe the negative things that people told me. So the reason why I'm telling you this story in detail is because I advise you all to do the same. Don't listen to the negative voices in your head. Don't listen to the naysayers. And follow your dream and take risks. Take risks. Take risks.
Amen.
But that's one of the two questions.
I don't even want to say anything now. I don't want to say anything. That's a great way to end. We've just got a few more minutes left. Who's got a question?
Only questions for Vic now. It's Vic's turn.
Oh, no, that's not true. Look, take it over like this.
Hello. I guess my question could be for either of you guys if you it. I know you played a lot of roles, so I'm sure you made a lot of roles, but what's a role that you went for that you didn't exactly get that you really wanted?
Ooh, I would say all of them. Right? You always say, oh, that would have been so fun. You know what? I do something to say about that. People used to ask me, I mean, you guys know, I've been around a lot. I've done a lot of Q&A sessions. And people will often ask me, what's a character you wish you would have done? And for a while, I would answer that question. I would answer certain characters that I would like to play. But then I was driving around one day, I was home, I was just running errands, and the thought occurred to me, what if the audience thinks that if I say, I wish I could have gotten to play such and such a character, what if they think that I'm dissing the person who actually did play the character? That would never be my heart. I would never want to, right? If I said, oh, I wish I could have played, whatever, pick any character. What if somebody knows someone's thinking, oh, it's online, even worse, right? Vic Mignogna said that he could play so-and-so better than so-and-so. Well, am I wrong? That's the way it goes. I mean, that's how it goes. So I stopped doing that because I didn't ever want any other actor to think that I was dismissing their work, or that I thought they did a poor job, or I thought I could do a better job. There's certainly roles that would have loved to play. But you know what? I think we end up getting what we're supposed to get. Things go the way they're supposed to go. There were a lot of big roles that I auditioned for that I didn't get cast in, but I got cast in some smaller characters. It was so much fun that I didn't even know about. I'll give you an example. Soldier. So I went audition, and I auditioned for all the main guys, but I didn't get cast as any of them. And I was kind of bummed out because it seemed like it was going to be a fun show. And a month or two later, the director calls me and goes, I want you to play this guy that he's Naka's dad. And his name is Spirit Albarn, or Death Sight, depending on what you want to call him. And I'm like, okay. And I went into the studio, and from the very first moment that he sticks his head through the window and confronts Soul, stay away from my daughter! You know what I mean? I thought, this is so much fun. This character, this secondary character, is so much fun. A lot of times the main characters have to kind of be the main characters have to kind of be the thread that runs through the whole thing. But then these eccentric and fun, colorful characters pop up episodically, and you, as an actor, you can have so much fun with those roles. So, that would be my answer to that question. Way back in the day, I watched Speed Racer, and I loved Speed Racer. I loved Speed Racer when I was yes, Kimberly White. Oh my gosh, that was my favorite. I didn't even know that Speed Racer was anime.
Me neither.
I was a kid, right? I just knew that it looked weird. right? It sounded weird. It looked like Scooby-Doo. It didn't sound like Roadrunner, but I liked it. I just didn't know why it was weird. Years later, I realized what it was, and here we are, anime voice actors, right? How crazy is that? I would love to have a chance to have played Speed Racer, knowing what I know now. But I'll say that because that was so many decades ago. But yeah, I have great respect for other voice actors and what they brought to the characters. So I would never want anybody to think that I was dismissing somebody's performance. How about you? Is there a character? What are your thoughts about that question?
Well, what's really interesting is there are tons of them, but I can't remember anyone. Because I think it happens, but then in the present moment, and then it kind of goes, it washes over you, and you move forward, and you're just engaged with all the wonderful things you have. And I literally, like, as you were answering that question, I was like, there's got to be just like a lot. And roles that I didn't get, and roles in movies and TV that I wanted, but I don't remember them right now. I remember the ones that I did. Yeah, I don't live with those regrets. Like, they go in my way and they disappear into the water.
That's a good life lesson too, right there. You know, don't dwell on them. Just let things go that don't go the way maybe that you wanted them to. You know, don't let them linger and fester and cause you to be unhappy. You know, just let them go. And like Karen said, before you know it, you can't even remember what it was. You know, that meant so much at the time. Okay, we have, let's see. Oh, we gotta get back on. One more question. Who's got one more question? Yes, sir.
This question is for both of you. So, when you guys record your lives, do you read a script in advance or just go in the line?
Nope. We just go, we just get there and I usually have no idea. Sometimes I don't even know what the project is. I just go in and they show you the script today. Okay, here you go, and you go. Very, very rarely. The only time when, yes, you do get the script is for on camera. Because on camera you have to memorize your lines. But video games, anime, never. I never get anything in advance, rarely.
And a lot of times, I'll add on, yes, that's just the straightforward answer. And I'll add on to that sometimes, most times, you end up having to rewrite lines as well. Because the person that wrote the original line doesn't speak like you do. You know what I mean? Like when a writer is writing a line frame, let's say, right? They're looking at the translation, and then they look at the mouth flaps of the character, and they're like, I think I'll go to the store. Yeah, that's it. And they move on. Well, Karen comes into the studio, or I go to the studio, and I look at it and I go, I think I'll go to the store. But that's the way you would probably say it, right? You would say, I think I'll go to the store. That doesn't have any flow to it. You know what I mean? Doesn't sound right. So when the actor comes in, a lot of times, they need to tweak the lines for the way that the actor would perform the line. Might have to add a couple of words. Might take out a couple of words. There might be a pause in the middle of a sentence that the writer didn't really honor the pause, right? Hey, want to go get some lunch? Hey, want to go get some lunch? That doesn't sound right. But the mouth paused, and you need to honor it. So you would rewrite it to, hey, what about some lunch? See, now there's a pause there. You said the same thing, it makes pause work. So we don't get anything in advance. But sometimes you have to kind of tweak them too once you get in the studio.
And sometimes for original animation, they'll send scripts ahead of time. And I can, like, when I did Monster High, that was original, and they sent the scripts ahead of time. So for original, yes. But anime, never. Video games, rarely.
You guys, we love you. We're so grateful that you're here. We're going to head some straight back down to our table to put down schedule because I've got a panel tomorrow and Sunday, and we'll continue on. And thank you for being here. We love you guys.